Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to this week's Midweek 180. Well, I've not been in this office for quite a lot of time to film one of my Midweek 180s. I'm staying with my friends in Stratford again, but if you haven't seen one of these before, this is my midweek update where I bring you my news, views and information about upcoming reviews, all filmed in one take. I'm going to put 180 seconds in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, and that's it, a very simple format. So, without further ado, let's get cracking with this week's Midweek 180. I shall start my timer. Well, first comment last week was the Speed Machine 35 ruining Vinnie Vincent's very long run at the top. But whoever puts the first comment this week, I will give you a shout out next week. So let the battle royale commence. Where are you and what you're doing? Well, that was John Maskell, who was chilling on his bed before he was due to go out for dinner. So wherever you are right now and whatever you're doing, let me know and I will give you a shout out next week. Now, last week's question was all about sat-nav, and I wanted to know what type of sat-nav you used. There was a big range, but a complete dead heat between Google Maps, inbuilt sat-nav in your various cars, and Waze. Now, I have to say I've never used Waze before, but a lot of you said the inbuilt stuff you like because you might have a head-up display, or a lot of Audi drivers, so you might have things like virtual cockpit, but a really interesting dead heat between those three. This week's question is all triggered by Monday night's film this week, which is about the I-Pace. It's a fairly simple question. I basically want to know, what is the biggest thing stopping you from considering buying an electric car? So it could be absolutely anything. You may already have an electric car or want one, but if you're struggling with the concept of electric car, what's the biggest thing stopping you doing it? I would love to know. The new car news. Well, I drove the I-Pace on Friday of last week. Video went up on Monday. It's doing really well so far, so make sure you check that out. It's a super car, super quick, best part of or equivalent of 400 horsepower, 0 to 60 in just a smidge over 4 seconds, a couple of hundred miles worth of range, brilliant tech, really great fun to drive. So I was very impressed with it. In fact, I found it hard to find things I didn't like about it. F1 news this week. The driver market just keeps giving. Now, I mentioned last week about Charles Leclerc possibly getting the Ferrari seat. Well, it was announced just yesterday that that's exactly what's going to happen. But the thing I didn't see coming was a driver swap. So Charles Leclerc goes from Sauber to Ferrari and Kimi Raikkonen goes the other way, which I think is really interesting. I thought Raikkonen would probably retire, but I guess he signed a 2-year deal at Sauber. I guess he's going to help them develop their car potentially. And we're off to Singapore this weekend, which is always one of my favourite races. Not Formula 1, but Moto2. I don't know if you saw this footage this week of Romano Fenati being a complete... I have no words to describe how dangerous that was. And it was interesting at the post-race press conference, there was quite a lot of people being quite politically correct, and then Cal Crutchlow went, you should ban him. Well, he got a 2-race ban, but then that didn't matter because his team have basically sacked him and he's lost all of his sponsors, and quite frankly, absolutely the correct thing to do. And then this week's, or the other car news is very briefly, if you're in the new car market or you want to buy a new car, Jenson Button is selling his his McLaren P1, a cool £1.6 million. So, that is the end of that. I've overrun a little bit this week, but yeah, Jenson's selling his car. And then last thing is this Friday's film, at 6 o'clock, is basically my 20th year anniversary coverage of the Goodwood Revival. An amazing event. Obviously, was there at the weekend. It's always something very special. So tune in on Friday to see my kind of little 20th anniversary celebratory video around Goodwood Revival. And that, my dear peddlers, is that. Slightly over this week, but I hope you forgive me for that one. So 2 films you need to check out. Monday's film, The I-Pace. If you've not seen that before, I'll put a card above. Make sure you go and watch that. And then tune in this Friday at 6 for my 20th year anniversary coverage of the Goodwood Revival. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that film. If you have done so, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you on the next film, guys, which, as you know by now, is Friday at 6 for the Goodwood Revival. You take care, guys. Drive safe.